Is there a vehicle that says to you that you've arrived? Well, for me, it's the BMW X5. Yes, there are much more expensive vehicles. They're bigger. I find them a bit garish, a bit much. This is sort of the sweet spot of luxury. And here is the 2024 BMW X5. Let's take it for a drive today. It's time for Family Wheels. The X5 lineup has a number of exterior, interior, and drivetrain changes for 2024, and they're all good. The front end has more aggressive rectangular shapes across the bottom and slightly narrower headlights, but the grille is essentially unchanged from the previous version. The back end echoes the increased angularity of the front, and the new taillights with two sets of ridges across their width look sharp. For 2024, the turbocharged 3-liter inline 6 in our xDrive40i gains 40 horsepower for a total of 375. And now it has a 48-volt mild hybrid, which makes the stop-start function almost undetectable and helps shoulder the burden of systems operation. The xDrive40i, formerly 45e, uses the same ultra-smooth inline 6, but is a plug-in hybrid, so it has 108 more horsepower than the 40i, 483 in total. And the PHEV helps it develop a locomotive-like torque of 516 pound-feet. It's said to be good for up to 64 kilometers, 40 miles, of electric motoring on a full charge. For old-school enthusiasts, there's the M60i, formerly M50i, with its 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8 beast under the hood. And far up the price ladder is the X5M Competition with 617 horsepower. This is pretty much the ideal combination of sitting high above the traffic and still having a vehicle that is fun to drive, really quite responsive. Now, there's no denying that this is a fairly large and heavy vehicle, but there is some defying of physics going on with the suspension and the tires and so forth. Because you can really throw it around a corner. I've engaged sport mode. Yes, the steering feel is tightened up, the shift points are sharpened. You can get quite a sporty feeling out of it. You know, it's almost a shame that vehicles like this are such a status symbol, spend a lot of their time at shopping malls and, I don't know, kids' riding lessons, because it really is kind of a hoot to drive. Let's put the brakes to a test. There's plenty of stopping power for this heavy vehicle. Of course, we do have those 22-inch rims all around, big fat tires, and gigantic disc brakes to help out. Well, let's see how luxurious the ride of the X5 is over our neighborhood bumpy road. Patches, potholes, speed bumps, and of course it takes them all in stride. I find it hard to believe that this is the base version. Yes, there's up-spec packages within it, but the 40i is the entry level. Inside, BMW has taken the perfectly pleasant interior of the previous X5 and dialed it up to wow. The cabin is anchored by 27 inches, 69 centimeters of displays, about 12 inches for the driver, and nearly 15 inches of touchscreen in the center. There are almost no buttons in here. I'm not exaggerating. Got a volume button here, track skip, and then max defrost and rear defrost, and that's it. Everything else is done through the screens or through voice commands. And I would hope that for your substantial amount of money that you would get a good long session with a tech expert to walk you through these and also set up your preferences, because that's how deep the menus are. Hello, BMW. Set the cabin temperature to 20 degrees.
I'm setting 20 degrees Celsius throughout.
And there we go. The rest of the interior is also splendid, particularly the seats with their numerous adjustments and extendable cushions for the long of leg. BMW calls the artificial material Sensafin, and I call it a good way to get that leather seat feeling without involving cows. Like its German luxury car rivals, BMW puts many options into pricey packages. Here we've got a $5,000 bundle called Premium Essential that includes parking assistance, head-up display, and, get this, heated and cooled cup holders. I'd trade the latter for ventilated seats. Another 2500 gets a suite of driver assistance features, including steering help on highways and adaptive cruise control. Our review car has gorgeous open-pore ash trim, well worth $500, and an illuminated grille that's another $500. As you'd expect from a vehicle of this size, the X5 easily passes our child seat test. Behind me, the kind of seat that takes up the most room, rear facing. Up front, I've got a few inches between my knees and the glove box door. I'm 5 feet 11 inches tall, 180 centimeters. The front seats, of course, have one of BMW's best features, and that is the extendable seat cushion or seat pan. That is manually operated. Otherwise, the passenger gets all the power adjustments that the driver does, including various lumbar and height and rake adjustments, and power headrests. You can see there's plenty of room for an adult in the rear of the X5. As far as niceties go, we do have heated rear seats, and there is a temperature control, I see, and a couple of USB-C outlets. The rear seats do not adjust for rake. And whether it's kids, grandparents, or the rest of your golfing foursome, everyone in the back seat can enjoy the panoramic moonroof. I said off the top that this is a vehicle that says, "You have arrived." What do I mean by that? Some years ago, before SUVs came to completely dominate the automotive market, the "you've arrived" moment was getting the sedan version of this. You would get a 5 Series sedan. Of course, they still make them. And you would get an E-Class sedan from Mercedes-Benz. Many years before that, the "you've arrived" vehicle was a Cadillac or a Lincoln, or if you wanted to be a bit different, a Chrysler Imperial. And of course, those days, they're long gone. These days, of course, General Motors and Ford have tried to play catch-up in the luxury SUV segment, and so from Lincoln as well as Cadillac, we do have some fine SUVs. I don't know if I would take any of them over this. Well, that's our look at the 2024 BMW X5, a most impressive vehicle. What do you think? Leave a comment. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, and thanks for subscribing. I'm Richard Detman, and I'll see you next time on Family Wheels.